Hello, I'm Sadeq Safarini, the CEO and founder of a company called Vector ML Analytics. The M stands for machine learning, and analytics speaks for itself. So raise your hand if you have tried to build a financial model before. Okay, few people. Perfect. How did that go? So imagine me doing this, but not for a small company, for a bank that has 30,000 loans, thousands of deposits, interest rate that changes every day, terms, mess, someone that just got a divorce and defaulted, someone just got a better offer and went to another bank, right? So you can imagine the level of complexity and the mess. But behind that, we have a bigger purpose. We're not just building models for the sake of models because we're just a bunch of nerds. We are. But we really care about community prosperity. And we want to make sure that the mechanism of trade and commerce thrives. And if you don't believe me, look at what happened in 2008, what happened when Silicon Valley went, and you could feel it. You could feel the inflation when you go to the grocery stores and you try to buy something, and that's all could have been avoided, or at least partially dealt with. So here at Vector, we actually are taking the financial models into the next revolution, the fourth industrial revolution, really putting AI into it and taking it next. So what is the problem here? And it's really a bit personal. I've worked for about 7 financial institutions over the last decades, pretty much mostly small to mid-size. I've seen some of them, some of our competitors went under. We did suffer losses. I wasn't senior management. I wasn't responsible for that. But it did taught me a lesson. And the lesson is, in order to run any institution properly, you need data. In any institution that fails to capitalize and fully leverage its data, it's going to suffer. And proper the process of collecting data, the analyzing data leads into proper insights, meaning that we are taking the decisions on time. We know how we're doing. We're not flying blind. And if we compromise this, we might end up in a very bad position. Sometimes we could suffer losses and potentially bankruptcies. And if you don't believe me, look at Silicon Valley Bank. So why this is now becoming more important? Well, of course, I wouldn't really mention Silicon Valley again, but I guess it doesn't take long to figure that interest rate has been rising over the year. They've been over high for about a decade. They've been super low, and now they're rising. But the thing is, no one knows if they're gonna keep rising or gonna keep going down. So there's a little bit of uncertainty and a volatility around it. Add into that inflation, just make it more complex to analyze the thousands of loans. And then, of course, the regulators always have to put their nose into theirs, which make it very, very hard for smaller banks to compete. So what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? Here, I have leveraged my skills to the maximum. I'm an investment banker. I've known these things inside out, and I've combined the science, the art, and the technology to build this beautiful AI-powered model. And what does the model do? The model takes the data and run a simulation and optimize for the highest point of profitability, the lowest point of risk, while ensuring that we're in compliance. Because at the end of the day, no one wants to go to jail and no one wants to get fired because they didn't get the numbers right. So it's quite interesting the way how this works. It's a sophisticated tool, but we've made it simple. And we would capture data from core banking systems. We'll take loan numbers, IDs, bunch of financial statements, other information, crunch that, produce a report, and then along with it, optimize the report with all the assumptions that will provide recommendation to the CFO. So now, when the CFO goes to the board, he's not going, well, here's a report. That's what we need to do. So at least now they have a plan that they can work toward it. Now, what's interesting in it from an ROI perspective, and this is more like for investors, is like how can we